Recently, I made the decision to acquire all the Zuk capes on all my accounts. For those unfamiliar with these capes, they are best in slot capes that offer incredible stats for their respective combat styles. They also provide significant buffs to certain ultimate abilities, transforming them into incredibly powerful abilities. The process of obtaining these capes is actually quite a process. First, you need to obtain everyone's favorite nostalgic cape, the Fire Cape. Afterwards, you must complete the Fight Kiln, which is a more challenging version of the Fight Caves. It requires a few quests, includes several Jads and other monsters you will recognize, including a monster that I refer to as the Armored Dildo. Wait, you don't call him that? No, just me? Alright. Then prepare to witness the heartbreaking moment when this fire cape gets destroyed by this Timo. Upon completing the fight kiln, you acquire a cape based on the combat style you use the most that can be upgraded using an item called the Igneous Stone. To obtain the stone, one must successfully defeat TzKal-Zuk in the Elder God Wars dungeon without dying or leaving, and this is the task I will be undertaking for the next 10 hours. Aside from the cape upgrade, normal mode Zuk also offers consistent drops throughout each wave. Unlike obtaining the fire cape and the kiln cape, the monsters in normal mode drop loot, which is automatically stored in a chest outside the area. Additionally, there are two rare drops that you can get, the Full Book and Magma Tempest ability codex, which are quite valuable and can be obtained within normal mode. Currently, I only have the Mage Cape on my main account, but my completion time is terrible. Therefore, my goals for this endeavor are the following. I need to obtain a total of 11 Igneous Stones, 3 for each of my alternative accounts and 2 for my main account, ensuring that all accounts have the ability to have the upgraded capes. Unlock hard mode on all accounts by achieving a flawless run, which means not failing a single challenge. At present, only my main account has achieved this, and then I need to achieve an average kill time of at least 20 minutes by the end of the 10-hour session. Successfully defeat triple Jads simultaneously, and acquire wealth. Last one I'm going to throw in because I do care about this is I just need to get good. I really need to improve my overall performance here. And that's it. Let's get started. I began with my Fresh Start World Tiger alt account, as it was more prepared for PVM at the time and serves as my main alt account. All my alts had similar setups, including Crit Bloom, top, and legs, which may seem excessive, and it is, can easily be done in Gano, but I have it and it provides excellent tankiness when combined with Animate Dead. For Helm and Ring, I use the Obsidian Mage Helm, as it offers damage reduction and a 10% accuracy boost versus lava monsters, and the TzKal Ring for the damage buff. Both work really well in this scenario. For cape, before I got the upgraded kiln cape, I used the defense cape. After I switched to the mage Zuk cape. For gloves, since everything except Zuk is susceptible to poison, I utilize Cinderbanes with combination with weapon poison. For boots, I use Blast Fusion boots, although Gano boots can be a great alternative. Amulet, I paired the Essence of Finality with a Gothic Staff, although Soul's Amulet is also really good and a viable option, and you can use a physical Gothic Staff and be just fine. Pocket slot, I equipped any god book I had on my accounts. Weapons, I had a combination of the Inquisitor Staff for Zuk and Staff of Sliske for everything else. It's just what the accounts have, and I don't have Greater Conch unlocked, but I do have Magma Tempest unlocked. I also have a shield switch with any mage wand to gain adrenaline while wielding a shield. Lastly, I brought runes for Animate Dead, Blood Barrage, Insight Fear, Extenuate, and various other spells that could serve as emergency options, such as Shield Dome and Prims of Restoration. This gear setup initially resulted in runs around 28 minutes and 23 seconds, but as I grew more accustomed to it, my time improved to low 20s per run. I did die a few times at the beginning due to silly mistakes, and there was instance where I really had to log off in the middle of a run because nature called. Lesson learned, always make sure to take care of personal needs before starting a run, because there's no pausing whatsoever in the middle of it. However, after a few runs, I found myself not needing any food with this gear setup, and my runs on the other two accounts actually went really smoothly without any deaths whatsoever. It took me a total of 11 kills to obtain the 9 igneous stones needed for my ults. Once I had taken care of my ult accounts, it was time for me to tackle this on my main, equipped with even more tools and gear. Some noticeable changes I made for my main account included the following. I started using a Fractured Staff of Armadyl, incorporated dual-wield magic switch, adding an extra AOF with an Armadyl Battle Staff in it, but this wasn't used that much, so it can kind of be ignored. Utilizing more offensive switches, such as Tectonic Top, Legs for Zuk, in situations that require higher DPS. I also added a Grimoire, but I actually didn't use it because I'm too damn cheap. I also took an Obliteration Staff for a Crumbing switch, and carrying a combat dummy for the first challenge, so I can do something crazy like this. Kaboom! At this point, my focus shifted to spending the remaining 5 hours of the session trying to obtain a rare drop while gradually improving my performance. As I pushed for faster completion times, I found myself dying more frequently, actually due to trying to rush through the encounter. Dumb ways to die, so many dumb ways to die. However, despite those setbacks, I managed to reduce my completion time from 27 minutes and 54 seconds to 17 minutes and 5 seconds, a significant improvement over what I had. Moreover, I accomplished a consistent rate of 3 kills per hour, marking another goal off the list. I also successfully defeated Triple Jad simultaneously. This ended up being quite a bit easier than what I initially thought. I think this is just because I have some experience with the Inferno on Oldschool Runescape. But I understand this might be a challenge for others. Fortunately, it's not nearly as hard as that because unlike the fight caves, Jads outside of the fight caves do not have healers. Now for the results and the math. Throughout the 10-hour sessions, I obtained a total of 26 kills. Although my alt accounts had slower kill times, my main did consistently average 3 kills an hour. And here are the earnings from the runs. So my main alt account earned a total of 34.6 million in loot and 226,000 TzKal and 7 kills. Second alt, 16.25 million drops and 96,000 TzKal and 3 kills. Third account, 17.75 mil and 104,000 TzKal and 3 kills. My main account got 61.1 mil in total drops and nearly 350,000 TzKal and 13 kills. You may notice I didn't get a single drop. So background story on this, my first ever kill on my main, I did get a full book drop, but that was outside the 10 hours. But yeah, I didn't get a single drop. In total, the loot from all my accounts and all the normal drops accumulated up to 124.3 million. After opening the troves, an additional 19.5 million was also added, combining to the normal loot and the troves. I amassed a grand total of nearly 133.5 million. Taking into account the expenses, which averaged around 3 mil per hour for supplies such as runes, the Essence of Finality, and Divine Charges, my overall profit stood at 103.485 mil. With a total of 26 kills, this means an average profit of almost 4 mil per kill. 3.98 mil to be precise. Considering that I can consistently achieve 3 kills per hour, this translates to a profit of approximately 12 mil an hour, making it the third most profitable method on my list. I believe it offers a relatively more relaxing experience than Zamrock, and you get the capes out of it, so I think it's a pretty good method. Before I conclude, I'd like to share some extra tips and tricks that might help or come in handy for those attempting this challenge, and things I personally learned. Starting off, the soundtrack during TzKal encounter is considered one of the best in the game for sure. Don't believe me? Take a listen. TzKal-Zuk. TzKal-Zuk now. But yeah, I thought I'd give a quick shout out to that because it's one of the best soundtracks in the whole game. But next we have each one of the full chests yields about 200k each. Patience is really key throughout this, so if you're trying this, don't give up. You'll get it eventually. The average GP per kill, taking into account the possibility of rare drops, is actually around 11.1 mil GP at the time of recording. And PVME is an excellent resource for learning more about this content. I will include a link in the description for a more in-depth guide. However, here are some very important tips I would particularly find valuable. So, optimal positioning during the run. It's recommended to stand one of two spots, either in the northwest or southeast area. Special attack weapons. Even if you don't have an Essence of Finality, consider using a Gothic Staff or other special attack weapons outside of the Essence of Finality. Challenge 1, use AoEs, use Thresholds, use Gothic Staff spec. If you're in danger of failing, use a Vitality pot at the end. Challenge 2, avoid using damage over time abilities and focus on bursting the target down. Abilities like Wild Magic and Asphyxiate during Sunshine are often sufficient, or you can utilize the Gothic Staff special attack. Challenge 3, utilize Turtling on your shield to have Barricade last the entire challenge. If you don't have enough adrenaline at the start, you can typically build around 30 to 40% adrenaline before the second hit. The first hit can be mitigated with Resonance while you build up adrenaline for Barricade. If necessary, absolutely necessary, use Reflect and switch prayers while taking a sip of Vitality Pot. Triple Jad. You can actually position yourself here to kill the first Jad and then move a few squares over to attack the remaining Jads. For Hurricane, an important tip for this is enable camera shake. Yes, actually enable it. Most other places you want to disable it. It's super beneficial here as it slightly shakes the screen before the blob attack, indicating the need to move 2 tiles to avoid the horrendous adrenaline drain that it does. Avoid using damage over times here. It's similar to the challenge 2, and prioritize high hitting abilities since Hurricane absorbs some of the damage. For TzK, really encourage reading, watching a guide, but here's some tips that I have. Pray melee and consider soul split flicking if you're capable of doing that. Use Freedom for the first special attack, geothermal burn. Special 2, you need to move 15 squares, so surge and dive / walk back. The third special attack, Quake. You can either surge on the second hit right before he specs and then walk back. This allows you to get back to your Sunshine without the Quake being in that area. Or just surge as he hits you, give off the Sunshine if you had it there. And if things go wrong, use Freedom as soon as possible. And that'll remove the draining attack on you. For the fourth special attack, it hits you for a 5k empowered magic hit. A good Resonance or Disruption Shield will actually block all of the damage. Or you can opt for Debilitate, Reflect, Power Burst Vitality, Shield Dome. All those options reduce the damage. And after the fourth special attack, use Anticipate for the pizza phase, where you need to focus on dealing damage and just good luck. I believe that's all, folks. Thank you for watching. I genuinely appreciate those who made it this far. I care about your feedback, so please add a comment of the content you would like to see next, specifically between the following. I'm debating about doing loot from 10 hours of 3 AFK methods, loot from 10 hours of hard mode ZUK, because I've already done normal mode, and loot from 10 hours of clues. This would be 10 hours of each tier. Your input is super valuable, and don't forget to hit that subscribe. Thanks. For news in real life, I recently just dropped like 4K on new computer parts and investing quite a bit into higher quality videos. That took way longer than it should, but it looks like everything's up and running. So, I'm so tired.